Well, I'm not really sure what happened, but a lot of my tools got wet this morning, so we're gonna make an Elco. Oh, this is weird obsidian. Huh. Okay. Yeah, we're gonna make an Elco. This is actually not what I was expecting. It's completely opaque. Swirls and stuff in it. This is more than enough. This is a very large spall for making an Elco, but because it's a turtle back, we're gonna lose quite a bit of width and such. Oh, that was terrible. I totally missed the platform. He's a little translucent. Might make a really cool looking piece. A little bit of mahogany on this side. Oh yeah, it's pretty cool looking. Doesn't look right. Usually I can just work obsidian or most little spalls like this in my hand, but this morning I'm doing this like this because I'm trying to stay in frame more. Much of getting rid of a turtle back is just thinning the flat side. If it's a turtle back, you have a continuous platform pretty much all the way around the piece, and as you turn it, you can just continue to thin this side. That's actually, in my opinion, the hack to beating a turtle back. It's not instantly trying to thin the other side, but to actually thin the flat side. Like that. And that will be more than enough to make, you could make an Elco from that as well. That's a nice thick flake. Get this little antler billet for some of these smaller ones. At this stage, I kind of like to switch to a little antler billet for some of these thinner pointed platforms. We won't do a whole lot of abrading on these platforms just because it's obsidian and you can grind away at your platform with just the tool you're using, and then I mean, I guess that's what abrading is, but we're not gonna switch to a rock and grind. This Cortex might have cracks in it, so looks like it does. I'll just do direct percussion and then switch to pressure. A little bit of grinding with the hammerstone would help here, but it's kind of fun to experiment how it might. Still pretty good thinning flake there. This is a steeper edge, so I'm coming straight down. Don't want to hit it too far in. This will be our tip up here. We have to remember that Elco is a very broadly used style, and there were lots of different sizes and shapes throughout not only the Great Basin, but California, Oregon, and Washington, I believe, Utah. So it's a hafting style, and as such, it was used during the period people were using atlatls, and then there are very similar arrow points into when they were making arrows. So and then I've seen some, upon looking at different artifact forums and such, I've seen some that were basically knife forms, so they're larger and they're notched like an Elco, not as deeply notched as the style that I'm making, which is very common in the Crump Lake region of Oregon. For whatever reason, there seemed to be a lot of almost like an industry of deep notched points and really high craftsmanship work. Let's switch to a little hammerstone here. It looks like it may have rained last night. Maybe that's why my stuff got wet. Flakes travel kind of strange across this material. Getting these into the basic shape and thickness that you want early on saves a ton of time. Of course, we do the final series of thinning and everything with pressure flaking and sharpening, but you save a lot of time doing this. A little crusty crunch in there. And yes, that is a scientific term. We get another thinning flake right here. I hit it too hard. And it went in there, but it ran into this older scar. But that's totally fine. It is by no means a final series flake. We're gonna do a deep notched Elko with the ulna bone. So, oh man, that reminds me, I hope the ulna didn't get too wet or damp last night. Guess we'll find out. Down on this heavy platform just to change the angle a little bit there. Next door we can get a flake if we bring this up a little bit. Get a flake off of right here. That platform was not super in line with where I wanted to go, because it kind of grabbed off. It was a good flake. Working off the, I always work with my antler tools with I come in from the side. I'm not coming in straight in, so they wear a little strange, and I could probably get more usage out of them if I twisted them or switched them. It's pretty cool. Cal Fire's going by and with their airplanes. We live south of the airport here. Coming by, fighting fires. This is not going to be a long, well, might be able to get a long flake here. Yeah, it's just the contour's not right. We gotta come from the other side. Gotta switch to the smaller hammerstone so I can get into some of these smaller areas in between deltas. I don't think we can, unfortunately, ooh, this is a heavy platform. Unfortunately, some of these are not going to, so this material is really cool looking. The flakes are cool, but I don't think we're gonna get it thin enough to where we can see those crazy patterns in there. I'm try to catch the tail end of. Yeah, still got that crunchy thing in there. Phenocryst. Platform could have been more isolated. Get a longer one in there. I'm not too worried about it. Crunched. Turn this edge here. Take one right here first. This platform. I want to grind on that platform. Okay. I wanted it to go further. Can go from over here. That platform also had to fight up, it had to jump up that hinge area right near the edge. It probably lost a lot of energy doing that. It's just gonna be straight in, back edge support. Yeah. Trying to get a thinning flake across the base here so that we can make notching easier. Thinned out the base a lot. Don't want to make it too thin. We got to get one up over here. Still got that little crunchy guy in there. Might have to just ignore it. I don't think it's going to affect anything. To match this little area here with the thickness from that last flake, take a blending flake to blend in that. You can start to see the vision of where the corner notches are going to go. Thinning flake, but that Phenocryst is still in there. It's a long one. Typically they come out within a couple flakes. And also, I'm sure you can see you can get a long flake up from the base because we've got a big area there. Maybe not a long flake, but we can thin that area quite a bit. Basal width is looking pretty good. But we still have a lot of thickness to go. See if this works. Oh, I didn't catch it right. I could feel it didn't hit the platform right. Okay, we can move next door. There it goes. This is a heavy platform. I don't know if this is going to crush or if it's going to go. Nice. Little cleaning flake. Do actually have to be careful of that phenocryst if I'm striking certain platforms. It could cause a weak spot, and I have to make sure that they're ground just right but not too strong, because we can cause a lot of internal stress with that. Or something like that. This platform's too low. I'll grind it up. It's still too low. I'll just hit it to blend it. Nice. That is kind of a sketch platform because it's kind of fat and it's near the tip, and I can feel this preform shaking quite a bit. Might have to save the thinning for up towards the tip for pressure flaking. This one's going to be a blend of percussion, scars, and pressure, probably, depending on how far the pressure scars go. I think we can start pressure flaking now. We could continue to thin it with other tools. But that's about where I want it. So pressure flaking, filming pressure flaking is always a little harder. Actually, for me it might be a little easier because I'm usually in the same spot. Blend it with the scar. Yep. Blending it with that percussion scar there. Okay. Seeing if I can see any translucence with it. Fortunately, not yet. We got a pressure series, random thinning. Good morning. What's going on? I'm making a video. What are you doing? Yeah, it's overcast. Feels good, huh? Feels like the Bay Area a little bit. Did you just decide to get up, or did you sleep more? What's that? Okay. This is just to put a little bit of edge on this side because this side is kind of rumped over. So we have to get some blending flakes and contouring flakes that are going to open up that side so that we can take some, maybe some longer thinning flakes across. Because we got this deep percussion scar. Just kind of, I did that one right there because I didn't want it to go too far, too close next to this one at first. Wait till we have a little ridge. Oof, that was not a good flake. Some longer flakes here. I don't know if this one's gonna work because it's gonna get real close to that previous scar. Damn, yeah, it didn't go. Overshot. Overshots in this stage are welcomed because we are thinning down and also removing some width because I'm still shaping this. So sometimes they can speed up that process and help you kind of bring in the point a little faster. Maybe contouring flakes on that side with that large percussion scar. This flaking is going to look more original and less spaced out. It's not the final series though. Crunchy crunch. Damn, it's crunching. Maybe if we were to hold this point up to like a really bright light, we'd be able to see through it. I hope so. The differences in the material might make it a little weaker. It might make it more prone to snappage when we notch it, but we'll see. Should have braided that more. Okay, we're gonna put the notches in soon, so we have to make sure that where the notches are gonna go, that it's thin for them to run. Yep. I do want to braid these areas a little bit just so that I can be confident that the notches are going to be happy. Good thinning flake, but it crunched out this area. Still kind of fat because we got those crunches down there. So we gotta be careful. I'm gonna get some thinning flakes from this side. So this time I'm abrading a little bit because I want to get them to go. There we go. I'm gonna save that. That's kind of the flake we needed. I'm gonna save that spot because I don't want to crunch it anymore. This is kind of more of a rounded form. Notches will go like right there and there. I do want symmetry to be somewhat of a thing on this piece. Making sure that the notches come in at the same angle, and also that the base is the same rough shape or angle before you put the notches in is a huge factor towards making them symmetrical. That's good enough. I don't think this tool got wet. This is deer ulna. We're going to start the notches. I will have to periodically sand this thing down. Let me get you guys closer. Hey, come over here. Hey. Hey, what are you doing? Hey, what are you doing? What are you doing? Calm down. Calm down, kitty. These notches are going in at a completely different angle, but like I said, there's lots of variability with these point styles. Is it focused? I hope so. Hope I'm not just showing you nothing. So that just contacted more on the basal side than on the actual notch. So I might have to make the notch a little wider. Also want this one to have somewhat maybe of an expanding notch look. Some of them do. Notch is getting pretty far in there now. These tiny pop outs, that's really what matters. notch is little stuck actually after that last flake. There it goes. It's about as deep as I want that one. Definitely a weird looking notch. Widen it out a little bit. Okay. I'll go for the other one. Right there. Probably. Right there, I believe. Right here. If I know, while I'm doing this, if I know that there's an area that is really thick and I have a platform in there that's really thick, I know that it's going to lip out the edge. So while I'm doing that and I'm starting the notch really close on the edge, I have to make sure that I am pushing straight in, not only to thin it for when we continue to work on it, but also so that we do not lip off the edge in our ear and the barb. It's a very important thing for all kinds of notching. Punch notching, pressure notching. Dang, I don't know if it's focused. Probably just keeps focusing on my hand, huh? Maybe I have to back up a little bit. That flake was almost a bad one. It had a lot of power. This notcher is actually pretty, it has to be ground down a little bit. The reason I flipped it over is because it's thicker on this back side, thinner on this side. A lot of those Elcos were definitely notched with something very narrow, like a deer ulna. They're nice and hard, brittle, and strong. we'll do one more pop out. This notch over here has got some problems. Second notch is straight in. There's always that one notch. I'll borrow from the base a little bit. Sorry. This notch is just crazy looking. Shit. Just don't like the way this one terminated much. Oh gosh, this is a wonky Elco. Some of them turn out that way, and I've seen some. This notch turned out really good. It's very controlled and straight in. This one's kind of curving and doing weird stuff, but it'll look pretty good at the end, I think. I think we can call that good. Just thinking about getting one more pop out in this notch. Goes. Oh. Yep. The Paiute and Modoc and natives living up in that area were incredible. They're really good at notching. This thing's almost too deep notched and looks wonky. But it's more to demonstrate how efficient these are. I am going to expand the notches a little bit, just for fun. Give it more of a teardrop shape like some of those points have. And when doing this with the bone, you have to make sure that it's just contacting in the right spot. Because we're more so pulling rather than pushing off in the exact spot that we want. Okay, we'll wait for all that to be done later stage. It's pretty wonky, but this is more to demonstrate. Ooh, this pressure flaker got wet, so I don't know how well it's gonna work. But I have to do some of the final work now. I'm gonna back up a little bit. Could work on the base a little more. Funny, because when I switch from this, the previous one, to this one, I'm like, whoa, this is a really thick edge. We can get it down real good, real good. Get her down. Got to be careful too, though, because I don't want these flakes. Beauty on these points is that they are excuse me, they are essentially flaked on the edge where the entire edge is flaked off, and so by doing that you have to space the flakes just enough so that the scar that releases removes the entire edge in that section. And that's what they were doing. That could be achieved quite a few ways. You set a continuous edge, you just flake off a bit, let the antler pull the flake off. Well, I don't have a complete eye for symmetry, but sometimes I do. I'm doing this one maybe a little faster. This tool could be a lot sharper. I'm gonna run a series here. What I'm doing right now is flaking off the edge and letting the previous flake scar run pretty much right next door to the previous one. The current one run right next door to the previous one. The most fun part, I think, on these is to do the base concavity. Or you could resharpen this thing all day, but I guess I'll just finish it up. Do want to get more flakes on this side. And give it more of an curving look, resharpened look. Flake off at the corner here. I'm just glad the notches didn't blow up. It's not always smart to start in the middle of the tip. If you're gonna make it really nice and needly, you should start at the very tip so that you work down. It's stronger rather than thinner as you're resharpening it, because it'll break more in the thin spot than a thicker spot. Oh, you can't even see what I'm doing. I'm sorry. We're just resharpening the tip right now. Needle tip on. Tip is actually pretty thick. Ooh, there's a phenocryst right near the tip. I think I might just leave the tip as is because I don't want to get too close to it. Oh! Jeez. So clumsy. So clumsy. Okay, now we have to bring the base in. And I'm going to do this. Some of them have just a little shelf like this, but this one I'm going to bring in more. Like a central notch almost. Your dog is twisted. You can absolutely break off the base on this if you're not careful. The platform's too fat. You're trying to do that. Now we just dig the notch a little deeper and deeper, or the central spot a little deeper and deeper. I don't know if you want to call it a notch or what. It has to have that shape. Oh, it's starting to rain. What the heck? Freaking raining. Ah. Not expecting that. Okay, I'm just going to take it off, call it good for now. There's a whole lot more work that could be done on this. Zoom in a little bit. You can see there's a phenocryst up there.
there, so I wanted to just kind of avoid it. Still have that one over there. Yeah, it's an Elko. I'm making a bunch of them right now, and this one ended up being a little bit more asymmetrical. With the conditions right now, I think I'll sharpen up my tools a bit, make some finer flaked ones.